Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Connection Valley Church. We are so glad that you are with us this morning. If it is your first time, we want to let you know that it is our mission to influence people to life-giving connections with Jesus, their family, and the community. And so, as a church, we will partner with organizations in and around our community that are already doing great work, and we just support them the best we can with our financial resources, with our volunteer resources, sometimes by collecting things that they need. And so our community partner this month has been New Life Family Outreach. They provide care and support for women who have unplanned pregnancies. And so sometimes there's abuse involved in those situations. Sometimes healthcare is what's needed. Sometimes they just need some other kinds of resources. And so this organization helps these women to deliver healthy babies. And they also help with some of the support that they need postpartum. So this is a great organization in our community that we've been supporting all month long. We'll be making a $10 donation in your honor just by being here today. So you are already making a difference in our community by being here. So how easy is that? It's pretty awesome. One of the things that they've needed, this is our last Sunday collecting these things, but we will be delivering sometime this week. So I guess I could take some late things. If you guys happen to stop by the store today or tomorrow, the things that they most needed were size 4 diapers, pull-ups, wipes, and formula. So you saw a big pile of stuff out there when you came in. That is why we are collecting that for New Life Family Outreach this month. So we have been excited to partner with them, and we're looking for opportunities to do some more serving with them. They were just like in between projects this month. So that will be coming up in the future. One of our other partners that you guys are so used to volunteering with is Feeding Lisa's Kids. And guess what time it is? It is time to volunteer again. This coming Wednesday from 6:30 a.m. we'll meet down at Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church in their picnic pavilion out back, and we will load up those cars and deliver the food to the food insecure families in High Point. So we'd love to have you be part of that. If you can be, you can load up cars with us. It usually takes about an hour to do that. Or if you would like to drive and deliver the food, that actually is a much quicker process if you don't have like a full hour from 6:30 to 7:30 on a school or work morning, but you have maybe 30 minutes that you could deliver some food. They always need drivers to be part of making that happen. So that will be this coming Wednesday morning. And there will be another opportunity the Saturday before Thanksgiving when we deliver that Thanksgiving meal. So go ahead and maybe mark that on your calendars. I did not remind my brain what the date is, but it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So whatever day of the month that is, we will be volunteering together to do that. So many of you were involved yesterday in the trunk or treat in Jamestown. It was an awesome day. We have a few little pictures up here for you to see, but more will be going out in the newsletter this week. I have no idea how many kids were there, but it was mass chaos for about an hour, and it was awesome, and we loved it. And so thank you to those of you who decorated trunks and passed out candy. For those of you who had multiple cars from your family to deliver or to pass out candy, it was awesome. Thank you to those of you who brought your kids. It's such a great thing. And I was talking with Bridget, who owns the Cakes by Bee Bakery, when it was all over, and she said, the community loves this. She said, people have been talking about it all week, and there are grown adults who basically brought their folding chairs so that they could sit out in the street and watch the trick-or-treaters come by and come back to see how all the trunks were decorated. And it was really cool to overhear people talking about how awesome our church is at decorating these trunks and no repeats and just a whole big deal is, very, very exciting for us to, they didn't know that they were talking about us in front of us, and what they were saying was so positive. So it was just really, really, really cool. So thank you guys for being the kind of people who make that kind of impression in the community. And so just so thankful for you. It was a very, very fun day. Brian will be talking in our God View series today. Actually, I forgot one other thing I'm seeing also. One of our other community partners, Dare for More, we heard from the president of Dare for More a couple of weeks back. That is an organization that works with rescuing women and children out of the trafficking industry, specifically in Guatemala, and we have coffee available out in the lobby. If you want to purchase some of that, all of the proceeds go to Dare for More. The women that have been rescued have been part of the process of roasting those coffee beans, so it's not something that we've just purchased from the grocery store and slapped a label on. These women who have been trafficked and rescued from that are the ones doing this roasting, and that coffee is available for you. If you would like to take some home with you today, you totally can, and all of those proceeds go to Dare for More. So we will continue to talk about them as we move on into the future. And again, as I said, Brian's going to be speaking to us again from our God View series today. I'm really excited about the message today, so I'm really glad that you guys are all here. I think it will be an impactful message for us. So I'm going to go ahead and invite Amy up. Amy will be leading us in singing this morning, and I would just love to invite you guys to sing along as she leads. I think these songs should be familiar to you. So, we love to hear everyone singing and participating together. I've said it before, there's something amazing about that happens when we join together and we hear each other's voices and we do something and are involved in something together. So please participate this morning so that we're able to experience all that God has for us this morning. So go ahead, stand up. If you are comfortable with it, say hello to someone around you, and then sing with Amy as she leads.
Did any of you grow up in a church where they had the greet your neighbor time and it just lasted forever and the pastor had to corral people back? That was our church. It'd be okay here to have a little bit of that. I do the hiding, you do the finding. I do the running, you do the chasing down. I have my questions, you have your reasons, exhausted my options. There's only surrender now. For the first time in a long time, I give you my heart, unmeasured, unfiltered, the whole thing. I wanna pour out all my devotion. Every drop I have is yours. Nothing is wasted here in your presence. I bring you more and more and more. I'm done with the hiding. I'm done with the running. It won't be easy, but I know you're worth it all. For the first time in a long time, I give you my heart, unmeasured, unfiltered, the whole thing. I wanna pour out all my devotion. Every drop I have is yours. Nothing is wasted here in your presence. I bring you more and more and more. If I'm in, I'm going all in. I was made for the deep end. There's nothing more precious than you. I wanna stay a little longer. I'm gonna stay a little longer. You deserve this whole jar of perfume. If I'm in, I'm going all in. I was made for the deep end. There's nothing more precious than you. I want to stay a little longer. I'm gonna stay a little longer. You deserve this whole jar of perfume. I want to pour out all my devotion. Every drop I have is yours. Nothing is wasted here in your presence. I bring you more and more and more. I want to pour out all my devotion. Every drop I have is yours. Nothing is wasted here in your presence. I bring you more and more and more. I bring you more and more and more. You can have a seat.
You guys sounded fantastic this morning. I know some of you had late nights, and so I'm like, wow, the energy in here is fantastic. So anyway, thank you for that. That was great. You didn't have to do that for me, but actually you're doing it for God. But the question I have for you, I like to ask questions to start today, is who are you? Now, some of you have a song in your mind, right? I see you back there. Who are you? How would you answer that question? What'd you say? Child of God. Okay, well, you're the winner. Okay, maybe I'll ask it a different way. How would you describe yourself? Confident. Complex. Caring. Can I get another C word? Ooh! Boo, 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 boo. Nice job. Social butterfly. Watching this interaction over here is great. I wish you were less of a social butterfly. All right, I have a third question. What makes you valuable? It's not funny. No, he's funny, right? Yeah, I know how that works. What makes you valuable? One of the great things about that question is God doesn't leave us without answers. Right? I mean, if you're familiar with some of the scripture, you know that God doesn't leave that question unanswered. So for instance, Ephesians 2:10, one of my favorite verses of all time, where Paul is writing his letter to the first century believers in the city of Ephesus, says this, "For we are God's handiwork." It could be translated, "We are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So, did any of you think, when I asked the question, how would you describe yourself or what gives you value, did any of you think God's masterpiece gives me value, that I'm God's masterpiece, that I'm God's handiwork, that I am a work of God? Because if you didn't think that, it's a reality. And here's the thing that makes this reality important. How we see ourselves is derived from how we see our origins. When you go back and read the Genesis account, chapters 1 and 2, you see how everything was put into motion, that God was the first cause of what you and I experience. And he put it all into motion, which ultimately culminated in the making of people. And he made people different than anything else. And we see that in Genesis 1:27, where Moses writes this. Genesis 1:27. It's about to pop on the screen. Wah. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So what makes man different or women different? Do you see it? What makes men and women or men and women different? What? Did you say it? What'd you say? Social butterfly is telling you to speak up. So he makes all the things that we know and experience, animals and everything else. What makes us different? You see it? Image of God. Which means all of you, image of God. Masterpiece, work of art, handiwork, image of God all around this room, which means you online, image of God. It means me, image of God, which then gives me value. Now, we're going to come back to this in just a few moments because I want to do something before we come back to this in a few moments. And something we've done over the last 3 weeks is we've played, or now the third week now, we've played a stage game, and I just enjoy some of that. We've had competition up here on the stage between two contestants. And we're going to do that again today, and we're going to have a stage game called Name That Masterpiece. And so this game is going to involve you naming the masterpiece that you see displayed on the screen and the person who created the work of art. And I just think it would be great to have two of the most competitive people I know in this world to come here on stage and compete. And one of them is my friend, Katie Brazel. So, Katie, you come on down. You are the first contestant on Name That Masterpiece. And you know we have a dynamic duo sitting here in the front, Alan and Daphne May, which they're both maybe a little bit competitive. And so, who me? So I just think it'd be great to have one of you come up. I'm going to let you choose to come on up and compete against Katie. Alan, so we're having a repeat of the past. And just so you... The third showdown. I know. This is the trilogy. Dun, dun, dun.
You don't ever set me up for success.
I never set you up for success.
I don't think I'm going to know any of them.
Well, you know, you may surprise yourself.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. You get points for naming the masterpiece and the creator of the masterpiece. So, Alan, if you think you know, tap my shoulder. Ow. And then I will say, Alan, but if she taps my shoulder before you tap my shoulder, then she gets to go first. However, if one of you get one of them right, but not the other thing right, the other person can steal, and they can guess who made the masterpiece or what the masterpiece is called.
Okay.
Okay, you got it? You
Yeah,
got it?
yeah.
You ready? You ready? All right,
Okay.
here we go.
Mona Lisa. Leonardo da Vinci.
We're supposed to tap.
I did. I tapped.
Oh, my word. My left shoulder is going to need some rehab.
That was the one I was counting on. That's the one I'm going to know.
So she actually did tap my shoulder first. So you get 100 points for Mona Lisa. You also get an additional 100 points for Leonardo da Vinci. You have 200 points, Katie. And Alan, you sadly have the big goose egg.
Not for long.
Not for long.
Oh, okay.
See, Bree, you know what? This has been fun to have you in this mix, right? I kind of do miss you. That's all right. You miss me too. Yeah, see? I like it. Humble back there. All right.
What does she know works of art?
I mean, she is one, right?
So you've told us.
I told you. No, he's not wrong. I love this. I love you. We need more Bree in this world. All right, you ready for the next one? All right, let's go.
Starry Night, Van Gogh.
Ooh. All right, that was fast. So you got 200 points now, Alan. You have 200 points now, Katie. We got 2 down. We have 8 to go. Oh,
8 to go. All right. Okay.
is that a problem?
I don't know that much art. All right. Okay. Let's go.
I love you. I love you both. All right, let's go. Number 3.
The Last Supper.
The Last Supper.
That's Da Vinci.
Let's see. Oh, wait. Yeah, I was like blanking for a minute. I was like, is that right? You're right, Alan. You get 400 points now. You go from 200 to 400. And Katie, you have 200.
200.
Not 1, 200. All right, so this fourth one right here, it's going to get a little bit harder, I think.
I don't know that.
This Van Gogh, The Scream.
The Scream, Van Gogh. You don't know? No, okay. She said she didn't know, so I did call for the answer kind of quick, but you did say you didn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's by Munch.
Munch. That's
Munch.
right.
Wouldn't you like to have the last name Munch? All right, so you have 500. You have 200. How you feeling about things?
I told you, this is not a good game for me.
So I do have a question. What would be a good game?
Something that I know.
So what do you know?
I know about, you know what would be a good one?
What?
Bible drills. I talked about this in the women's Bible study, how in Awana we used to have to do Bible drills. Like they'd
Bible
say,
drills.
like, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That'd be a good one for me.
You know, I think we may have to do this someday.
Let me know. I'll do it. I'll study up.
I was a champion at that as a kid.
I won gold at the Awana Olympics.
You two are great. You are works of art. All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
I don't know that. I have no idea.
You don't know that?
It's Picasso. I forget the name.
It's Picasso. Okay,
Oh, someone said no. I'm gonna guess a name.
guess a name.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. He's a popular one. Does anybody out here know what it is? The what? Clipped. Okay. Does anybody know the name of the painting? All right, it's really complicated. The Kiss.
Clint, you were right.
Clip it. That's really good, Amy. Yeah, you get a hand. What'd you say? You get 100 points. It doesn't count toward anything, but you got them. All right, so 500, 200, 100. All right, are we ready? Are we ready? All right, let's go.
I don't know.
I don't know. That is not the right answer.
Farmers.
The farmers?
I don't know what that's called.
Do you know?
I know it.
Doesn't it make you crazy when you know it?
Yes. God.
And sometimes being on stage makes it a little more challenging.
Home on the range. I don't know.
Home on the Range is not correct.
I don't know.
Now we got home on the range. All right. Does anybody out there know? American Gothic? Yep. Do you know who did it?
Grant Wood.
Grant Wood, of course. You knew that.
Yeah.
All right. How many more do I have? 4? That's what I thought. All right. We got 500, 200, and sometimes we do bonus points just whenever we feel like it. So, and 100. All right. You ready? Let's go.
What?
Does anybody out there know?
Looks like a Rembrandt.
You say Rembrandt? Anybody say it out there? All right, what is it? Rembrandt! He knew the artist. Oh my goodness.
I was an art major.
Are you kidding?
He was an art major. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
This seems like a.
This is so rigged. This is ridiculous.
All right, so you're losing 600 to 200.
To an art major.
But I don't even do that anymore.
You did it though.
And these all are from the past. I mean,
I know.
okay, so we're down to 3, 600, 200. Let's go.
Salvador Dali.
She hit me first.
The melting clocks.
The melting clocks and who did it?
Dolly.
She doesn't get that first one.
All right, let's see what she got here. The persistence of memory, which you guys didn't know that. But since she did tap me first,
Give it to her.
I'm going to give her the points. 600, 300, thanks. She says thank you. And she didn't say it out loud, but I know she. And then we have 100. All right, we're down to 2 more.
You're an art major.
I know it too.
You know this.
All right, look at the painting, and what would you call this painting?
The Looking Girl.
The Looking Girl? That is not correct. Da Vinci, okay, you think Da Vinci did it. Do you know what the painting is called based on looking at the painting? The Look. Oh, do you know? Girl with the pearl earring? That is correct. Johannes Vermeer. You didn't know that?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right.
My art history teacher would be so embarrassed for me right now for that. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed for him. All right. So 600, 300, 200.
Amy should be up here.
Did you name the artist too? No, I did not. Oh, Johannes is kind of a hard name. All right. We have this last one. Now, how many points should we make this last
500.
one? 500? Are you okay with that? All right, they're both 500 point. No, it's like, so it's a 1,000-point question. Like, it's massive. So Amy can win. All right. So here we go.
Picasso.
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 And what's the name of it?
I've never seen this in my life.
You've never seen this in your life?
I've never seen this in my life.
Well, now you have. Do you know it? This is. I think I know it because I picked them. This is Guernica, right? Yes, I knew it. 500 points, me. I still lose. All right, so what this means is, that was pretty anticlimactic ending, but it means that you are the winner again. Katie, you are second place again.
Hey, if you're going to blame anybody, blame Daphne. She sent me up here.
And last week, we gave you some hot chocolate from my pockets to winner. And if you know, you know. But today, I decided I wouldn't put the Mike and Ike's in my pocket. So you win a package of Mike and Ike's.
No,
Oh, she's like, don't give me your token gift. All right. So in the future, we're going to work something out where you guys can have a dual Bible drill duel. Do you guys want to see that? Yeah. Yeah, I do too. All right, any parting words, victory speech?
Study up.
All right, and any retorts? Any retorts?
yes.
If it's a Bible drill, you're going down.
Oh my goodness! All right, everybody, give up a hand for Katie and Alan. You guys made that so good. Image of God, right there. I thank God. I really do thank God. He loves it when we enjoy each other's company. And I just think sometimes we miss out on that. So thank you. You guys being you gave us a great time. So now, if you haven't been with us the last couple weeks, we've been doing this God View series and talking about our view of God. And the reason why we've been talking about our view of God is because it impacts our view of life. Our view of ourselves, our view of other people, our view of life. And so our God view is important because, well, it's going to affect everything else and how we see life. And to do that, to help us kind of look at this and see what God is all about, we've gone back to a prayer from 3,000 years ago that was prayed by Old Testament King David. And it was a prayer where he is praying and speaking the attributes of who God is. And so from the first week, we talked about this idea that the all-knowing God knows me and you completely. He knows us completely. He knows us better than ourselves. And that's hard to comprehend, but he does. And then last week, we talked about this idea that the all-present God is present with me and my sins, my successes, and my sufferings, or my successes, my sins, and my sufferings, which means that God's there in the high moments, he's there in the low moments, he's there in the dark moments, the moments we don't want him to see, the moments we wish we could go and do over. He's there in all of it. And David was acknowledging that in this prayer. And what was true for David is also true for you and for me, which leads us into today, and we pick this up in verse 13 of chapter 139, and this is what David writes. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. David is acknowledging that God knew him, that God made him, that God was fashioning him from the inside out in his mother's womb. We too have all had that experience. And that's like, wow. One of the other implications here is David is acknowledging God making him in his mother's womb. And is basically saying that I was made in the image of God in my mother's womb. And when I was being made there, I was David. Which means he's saying that I was a life being fashioned and formed in the image of God. Which means that unborn life is life. He's not saying you created my tissue in my mother's womb. You created me. I was alive. I was David there. And you were you being formed and fashioned in the image of God in your mother's womb. And he's affirming that unborn life is life. Out of the womb, that once life is born life is life, which gives it value as well. That life, unborn and born, is life. And the implications of this is huge because then it means that we can't choose how we deal with life flippantly. Not that any of us would do that, but it means that we view abortion differently. If a baby is life inside the womb, then we view it differently. We can't just say, well, it's my body, my choice. No, I was made by God. I belong to him. It's his body, his choice. And that's a message that gets really convoluted. It can bring about a lot of different feelings based on your experiences. But if you're made in the image of God, and all of you are, and every person in the womb and outside the womb is made in the image of God, then it changes how we view abortion. It changes how we view suicide. We take that option off the table. Because I've been made in the image of God. You've been made in the image of God. My life is not my life to take because my life doesn't belong to me. Also raises the value of life for how we approach murder. Not that any of you would do that. But we're a lot more mindful of the life around us. Those lives have value. Job affirms this in Job 10:11 when he writes, "You clothed me with skin and flesh, and you knit me together with bones and sinews." Genesis 1:27, back to Genesis 1:27. God created man in his own image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. It's huge. Now, what I'm saying is a bunch of hogwash. If we were created by chance. If you are an evolutionary accident, then life really doesn't matter. If you're created by chance and randomness, life doesn't matter. If an unborn baby is inconvenient, it doesn't matter. If your life doesn't matter, then suicide is a viable option because you're created by chance. If you're created by chance, how we deal with life outside the womb, it really doesn't matter if someone's getting in the way of what I want because I'm created by chance and my morality is based on what I think is right and wrong, not answering to anybody higher than me. Do you see the implications of that? It's why our view of our origins is so important because God gives us a sense of right and wrong and morality. Outside of that, man, it's survival of the fittest. All you have to do is observe the animal kingdom to see this at play. There's not a higher sense of morality. Turn on Animal Planet sometime. Watch what happens. Animals are looking to find their means of survival, whether it's eating another animal, sometimes eating their own, because there's no morality. It's might makes right, survival of the fittest. And if that's true for us, and we're not created distinct from the animals, well then, abortion's okay, suicide's okay, and murder's okay. And David, when he writes this, he's saying, you're made in the image of God. Going back to verse 13, let's revisit that again. You created my inmost being. You knit me, you constructed me, you formed me in my mother's womb, which makes it his body, his choice. He continues in verse 14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Fearfully and wonderfully made. That makes a great tattoo, doesn't it? I've heard of people who have gotten it. I know people that have gotten that on their bodies to remind themselves of who they are. But if you dig even further into what this means, it means that we were made with awe and distinction. You were made with awe and distinction, fearfully and wonderfully made, which makes you significant, not because of who you are, but because of who God is. And when we find our significance in Him, that opens up a whole new world of possibilities because we're no longer having to do things in our own power. We're acknowledging our Maker. I was thinking about this in terms of we were made with awe and distinction. And I want to put it on the screen because this is an important thing to remember. We were made with awe and distinction. I wrote down a couple things about the human body just to remind you how much awe and distinction you were made with. The human heart, on average, beats about 70 times per minute. Do you know how much blood it pumps through your body in a day? 2,000 gallons. Now think about that in terms of a gallon of milk. That's a lot of blood. Or the equivalent of 7,500 liters. I think of like a 2 liter of soda. That is pumping and coursing through your veins and everyone else that's been created every single day. The average body contains nearly 100 trillion cells. That happened by chance, right? By accident? I don't think so. That seems like it's a much greater leap of faith to think that that would happen by accident, that things would go from chaos of randomness, and then we would be orderly put together like this. 100 trillion cells. Now, the brain, and this could be debatable for me, contains 100 billion nerve cells. 100 billion! Can't even fathom nerve cells. Human kidneys process daily about 130 quarts or about 123 liters of blood to filter out waste and water. You are extraordinary. Look around at the people around you. I mean, seriously, do it. Those people around you are extraordinary, made with awe and distinction. Now think about this. How would your life be different if people treated you with awe and distinction? How would your life be different, or this world be different, if we treated others with awe and distinction? That we didn't just base our approval on somebody because they look like us and act like us and agree with us. But we said, you know what? You have value, even if you vote differently than me. You have value, no matter what your age is. I was talking to my mom the other day. She was talking about, when you get to a certain age, sometimes people just act like you're not even there. I was like, I don't like that. She's made with awe and distinction. Male, female, child, senior adult, you're made with awe and distinction. Unborn, born, awe and distinction. How would life be different for us if we treated people that way, or people treated us that way? Radically different. He continues in verse 15. My frame was not hidden from you, God, when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. So when we were being fashioned and formed in our mother's womb, God saw us. In that darkness that no one else could see, God saw us exactly as we are. And now in the 21st century, it's been this way for a hot minute, we can go and get a sonogram when you're pregnant. I say we, never been pregnant before, but you can go get a sonogram when you're pregnant. And there's a lot you can see. I mean, even at 20 weeks, generally you know pretty concretely whether it's a boy or a girl that's in the womb. And some of those pictures now, like you see some of those sonogram pictures, it's like, whoa, those are so much better than when my kids were little. That is so much detail. Yet, there's still so much we don't see. And from the get-go, God saw us completely, our complete frame, our complete skeletal system, all 206 bones and the muscles attached to the bones and our human body. God saw them because he made them and was fashioning them with awe and distinction. To the idea of being woven together is like this idea of a skilled embroiderer weaving together what they're making with a purpose. And I'm not a skilled embroiderer, but I know what something looks like that's been done by somebody who is skilled. And it's like, wow, that blanket looks amazing. God wove you together like a skilled embroiderer makes a creation. He wove you together like you are for a purpose, which he tells us about in verse 16 when he says this. You saw, or your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Which means God had a plan for you back when you were in the womb. Which means, who are we to get in the way of that? The implications of this is that God created you, and God created me, and God created the unborn, and he created the born, which gives us value. And that's the big idea for today. God created me, created you, his image, which makes me valuable. And then on top of it, makes this also true based on what David was praying, is that God created everyone, all people in his image, not by chance, not some random blow up of matter in the universe, which doesn't make sense anyway, but because we don't see anything in science come from nothing. Scientifically, it doesn't make any sense that something would come from nothing. It also doesn't make sense that chaos would go to order. Yet, so many smart people believe that we came here by chance. But no, God created, and we believe that by faith as well. But in the scheme of what we know and what science says, the only logical thing is there was a first cause that put everything into motion. And so, what is that first cause? We believe that God created everyone in his image, including the unborn, which gives great value to people both inside and outside the womb. Not because I said it, but because he did. So I'll go back to the original question that I asked you this morning. Who are you? Who are you? And what gives you value? Brooke and I really had this conversation, I guess, come to the forefront a few weeks ago. And I had already planned to talk about this in this series, but we've developed a friendship with a young lady who's a 20-something. And we've seen her go through some ups and downs, and she was in a relationship with a guy, and we know the guy, and they broke up, and it was really hard on her, and she was really struggling with the breakup. And so we've just tried to be there as a support. And so we've been having conversations. One night, she decided she wanted to talk to us about more that had happened in the course of the relationship. And I don't know exactly what prompted her to tell us this, but she said, in the beginning of the relationship, he got me pregnant. And she said, one of the things that happened after that is he said, I want you to get rid of that baby. And she said, I did. And she said, I have anxiety about it, and it haunts me every day. And Brooke and I were sitting with her in a restaurant. Tears started welling up in our eyes, and she knows that we're Christians. She knows we value life in the womb and outside the womb. And I think she was kind of wondering, how are they going to react? Because some Christians treat people who make decisions they don't agree with very poorly. We didn't say you're terrible. We didn't say you're awful. We didn't say you're gross. We embraced her. She needed to know she was loved. She needed to know that she was made with awe and distinction by our reaction to her, knowing that, what? Yeah, maybe definitely not the choice I would have made, but it doesn't mean your life is over. God still loves you. And so do we. Because we need to value life not only in the womb, but outside the womb. And she's outside the womb, and which means she's made in God's image, which means that she's made with awe and distinction. And what she didn't need in that moment was condemnation, because she already knew she needed the love of God that we have through Jesus. I don't know what you guys have done completely. I don't know what your story is, but regardless of what your story is, what is true is that God created you in his image, which gives you value. And you're going to see it right here on the screen. God created you in his image, which makes you valuable. Now, I want to help you get really practical with this. Not just for the unborn, but also for the born. I want to help you value you and everyone else. So this next week, what I want you to do is I want you to keep these things in front of you. Not for me, not because it's going to make me feel better about myself if you do, but I think if you were to take a picture of this today, you would take a picture, and some of you won't take a picture no matter what I say, but that's okay. If you were to take a picture of this today and read this once a day for the next week, I'm just thinking that it may impact how you treat other people. It may impact how you see yourself, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Can you imagine speaking that affirmation every morning? I am fearfully and wonderfully made, not because I said so, but because God said so, my creator, my maker. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm also then made with awe and distinction. I'm made with awe and distinction. Can you imagine? Every day, starting the day, I am made with awe and distinction. And then, well, on top of that, God created me in his image, which makes me valuable. Every single day, God created me in his image, which makes me valuable. That's a great way to start the day. Then continued with this last one. God created everyone in his image, including the unborn, which gives great value to people both inside and outside the womb. Can you imagine, just us in this room and us watching online, if we were to read that every day this week, how might that impact how we treat others, regardless of where they've been, regardless of where we've been? I just believe that it could be a game changer. Second thing I want to ask you to consider, it's going to come up on the screen here, is to volunteer with a community organization like New Life Family Outreach, which is here in High Point. And they help support women who have had abortions in the past, women who have been abused in the past. They also help support women who are pregnant and oftentimes single and alone and not cared for. They also come alongside women after they have their baby. And maybe they don't have all the means to have everything to provide for the baby. They provide some of that through things like you guys have done by bringing stuff in this lobby, the diapers and the wipes and all that. They help come alongside those women to make sure that they know they're not alone in this. Because one of the most lonely things that someone can ever experience is to say, you know what, I got pregnant and I don't have the means to take care of this baby. What am I going to do? And one of the best things we can do as a church is to come alongside and say, we got your back. Because you have value. That baby has value. And we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do something about it. So that's why I would say volunteer with someone like the New Life Family Outreach. Also the family room. Amy back here, who's very good at art, guessing art, work, masterpieces. Amy volunteers frequently at Family Room. They support foster families. And you guys have shown up to help do that quite often, of organizing clothes for kids and helping to build, what do you call those, swings and stuff like that for babies. Because you've said, you know what? Those kids who maybe don't have a family, but probably would love to be adopted or be connected, you're saying they have value. They matter. They're made with awe and distinction. So volunteering with these groups helps you to get a vision and helps to have your heart gravitate toward those who oftentimes are overlooked. Because again, the church has often done a very poor job of loving those outside the womb. This third thing I want to challenge you to do is give financially to CVC. And listen, I say this because we give 10% of everything that comes in to community organizations. So when you give to Connection Valley Church, some of that funding is going out to organizations like this. We believe that if this is your home church, you should give. Not because I say so, but because God gave you what you have, because he made you, he made all the stuff. And one of the ways we worship him is to give back a percentage of what he gave to us. But if you don't believe in us, you don't believe in what we're doing, give to one of those organizations directly. I mean, you know they're going to be doing things that are great. I want to challenge you to do that. Don't just sit there and go, oh, someone else will do it. Someone else will volunteer. Someone else will give. No. God put us here to be the hands and feet of Jesus, which leads us to the last thing. If you don't have a relationship with God through Jesus, put your belief in him as the one who made you and paid the penalty for your sins. Because what we all know is if we believe that God created, he made us without sin, going back to Adam and Eve. But guess what? We know that Adam and Eve rebelled against God. They chose to go their own way. And so there had to be some kind of payment of the price of our sins. And ultimately, God sent Jesus, his only son, who was God in the flesh, to die on the cross, to pay the price so that we could be reconciled to God, made right with God by believing in him as our Savior. So I can't leave today without imploring you, if you haven't done this yet, do it. It's the best decision you'll ever make because you're reconnected with your Creator who then can give you purpose and passion and significance and security in this life. So my question is, what are you going to do with what you heard? And what could happen in your life and the life around you if you were to take action? Operating out of the reality that you're created by God in his image, which gives you and everyone else value. Would you stand with me and pray? God, we thank you. We thank you for your design, for your unique stamp on every single one of us. We thank you because of you. We have breath in our lungs. We have blood coursing through our veins. We have life. We thank you for Jesus who gives us life beyond this life. And we thank you for him giving us the purpose and reason to not only live life with passion and purpose, but to make sure that others know that they are loved by you, that they are made with awe and distinction. Help us not just to be people that skim the surface, but help us to go deep with you. Thank you for being here right now. Thank you for being here when we leave here today. Thank you for being in everything that we do this week. Help us to recognize your presence and to find our significance and security in you and you alone, knowing that you are our maker. We pray this in the powerful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Standing here in your presence, in a grace so relentless, I am won by perfect love, wrapped within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep. In mercy, see, I'm wide awake, drawing closer by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. When I'm lost, you pursue me. Lift my head to see your glory, Lord of all. So beautiful. Here in you I find shelter, captivated by the splendor of your face. My secret place, I'm wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. I'm wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love.
I love that song. Boy, I think it really brings home what we're talking about today. And I hope you go deep with what you do next in light of what God maybe has laid on your heart today. If you want to join us for a small group conversation around the content of today, we'll be meeting in the back of our auditorium and on Zoom at 11:21 approximately. So we would love to have you join us for that conversation. If you can't, we have a question that we would love for you to kick around with the people that maybe you attended with today or over lunch. And then here's the question right here. I think you actually have two questions. But the first one is, read Psalm 139:14. And how does it impact you to know that, like David, you are fearfully and wonderfully made? And how would life be, nope, go back. How would life be different if we treated others as being fearfully and wonderfully made? And then here's the second question. Okay, I want to make sure you get a chance to take a picture of that. Go baking to that first one real quick. I saw somebody taking a picture. I want to make sure you get it. You're like back and forth, back and forth. The second question is this. What is one thing you need to do because of what you heard today? And it could be as simple as telling someone, hey, you have value. You just need to know that I love you. And making sure that people know. Now, one last thing. Some of you know that we help with food insecurity with Feeding Lisa's Kids the first Wednesday of every month right down the street at Wesley Memorial Church. And there's another opportunity this coming Wednesday at 6:30 at Wesley United Memorial Church. And we will be gathering as a team to come alongside Feeding Lisa's Kids and distributing food for the food insecure in our community. Another way to say, you are made with awe and distinction to our community. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you can join us for that. Have a great Sunday.